Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined as always by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. And tonight, the very special guest, the one, the only, Johhny Barks. Hi, Johhny. How are you doing? How was your week?
It was great. Thank you, Dawn, and Matt. Thanks for having me on. Just love the intro music. Very jazzy, very jazzy.
Glad you like it.
My week was pretty good, pretty eventful. I'm just getting back in the gear after going to training camp a couple weeks ago with some of the Packer crew, media crew. But yeah, ready for the season to start. Ready to take on the grind of the daily getting all these videos out. So very excited.
It is first of all really cool to meet you, Johhny. I was bummed because when 30 and 30 came through Cincinnati, it's just like the one in the evening that you were like hanging back at the hotel. So I didn't get a chance to meet you there. So good to finally meet you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's really cool to see you like well rested and like you look like happy and even glowing.
Right.
Like,
actually in my element. Yeah.
Having seen,
don't get me wrong. Like 30 and 30 was awesome. I was having a blast every day. It was very physically and mentally exhausting. So,
sure,
no doubt.
Sure. Oh. Well, hi there, and we have a little Pickett with us tonight. Hi. So, did you say? So, do you do videos for? Are you self-employed, or do you have an employer that you do videos for?
Yeah. So I am freelance. I am self-employed for tax reasons or whatever. But mostly, Tom Grassi and Brandon Perner are my main two clients. Clients is just like a weird word for me to say because like,
they're
friends, But no, it's a great time. It's because it's funny because I started watching Perna's content like a couple years before I heard of Tom, and Tom obviously kind of had like a really rocket in popularity of the growth of this channel, which has been really cool to see. But it's really cool after all these years, kind of watching their content and then eventually getting to know them in person and really helping contribute to their content. It's kind of a dream come true in that way.
That's awesome. And you don't live in New York where Tom lives?
I live in Illinois. I've actually lived in Illinois most of my life. So I know you're probably thinking how, an Illinois boy grow up a Packers fan. I actually grew up like 8 hours south of Chicago. It was like the opposite side of the state of Chicago. So it really it was more of like the South almost. It was like closer to Missouri and like Kentucky than anywhere near Chicago.
A whole different part of reality from Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have to admit, being from southeastern Wisconsin, when I think of Illinois, all I think of is Chicago.
Exactly. That's what a lot of people think of.
Yeah. I always forget about that whole part of the state.
And I lived in Chicago for 6 years, and every now and then I'd have like a reason to leave the city and like get like out of the greater Chicagoland area, and I was always surprised, like, oh, there's like a whole lot of everything else, like once you leave that metropolitan, it's really a crazy state. It's almost like New York State, how it's like there's this really big city and then just an expanse of land and sheep and wool and stuff like that. So crazy stuff. I feel like
prairie, like there's some really pretty parts down in Southern Illinois where I grew up, like Garden of the Gods or Giant City. If you're very outdoorsy, if you're ever in that area, it's very, very nice. They actually filmed like what was the movie? Was that Ben Affleck movie, Gone Girl? They filmed some of that around that area. So
didn't know that. That's cool.
I have a friend who's constantly traveling and hiking. That's her thing. And she posts gorgeous photos, and she posted photos from there. And I'm like, Illinois, really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I will admit, I know Galena, Illinois. Galena was Illinois, right? But that's also
still north. Yeah.
Yeah, but Galena was a charming little town to visit.
Yeah. So it's fun. So I live in Rockford, Illinois, which is kind of sandwiched in between almost the Wisconsin area and Chicago area.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's very mixed here. There's a lot of Bears and Packers fans, so it's always fun. I got a new shirt that says Aaron Nagler kind of inspired me to buy it, but it just says the Bears still suck. So I like wearing that around sometimes and get a lot of looks, not so many nice ones, but
Yeah.
Are you,
When I lived
are
in
you gonna,
Chicago, sorry, go ahead, Don. Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, are you going to go to the Bears-Packers game, the first game?
probably not. I
Oh,
went to
okay.
the preseason. That was kind of my trip to Green Bay.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really like. I honestly, I'm not really a huge fan of getting in Chicago. It's a great area, and
True,
I've been
true.
to. I haven't been to Wrigley yet. That's probably the only thing in Chicago I like need to do, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just so historic. And my brother lives like a mile away from the Wrigley Field, so
Oh, nice.
go.
Yeah, it is. It is something to get into and out of the city for sure. It was crazy, like just driving from where we lived in sort of the north side of town to get out of the city to go see like my family in Madison. It would take almost half the time just getting out of the city. It was crazy.
Yeah,
So,
just the traffic you're stuck in. It's just like add another hour for traffic, whatever you're. It can be ridiculous. I just like if I have to pick up my brother and like head south to see family, I'll usually go like middle of the night so there's no traffic at all, just for convenience sake. Because it's like an hour and a half. Technically, it should be an hour and a half to get to Chicago, but sometimes it's almost 2.5 hours just because of traffic. So.
Well, we have some folks coming up here to say hi from you. Tom Grossi says,
Tom,
the
what's up, man?
Hi, Katie. I
legend.
saw you before.
Kaylee, hello and welcome. Kung Fu Wombat. Wombat.
How are we doing,
excuse me.
guys? How are we doing?
So what?
Johnny Meows. I like that. Johnny Meows.
Oh my god, we got
Kaylee.
my alter ego in here.
Now that would be a great t-shirt. Some great graphics. I like that name. I like that name a lot.
Sorry, I got to retweet the link for you, Matt. Yeah, the Grossi posse has been incredible ever since 30 and 30 kind of pushed me into the spotlight a little bit. So
yeah,
it's been very cool. I mean, because I always like kind of be behind the scenes and kind of doing the stuff that no one always notices, but it's definitely fun to get a little more support and a little more credit. But everyone's been pretty awesome since June. So.
Yeah, and like the way how you first came on my radar was that you had done a video for Tom, and I think it was maybe like when Aaron Rodgers left or something. It was like a really amazing video, and I was like watching it and crying, and I was like, Tom, this is amazing. And he was like, dude, it was Johhny Barks, and I'm like, Johnny who now? And then so like then I think we went back and forth a little bit just to like kind of introduce ourselves. So then when you were on the 30 and 30 stuff, I was like, I know that guy, he's awesome. So like it's good that you were able to get some credit, some exposure, if you will, because the work you do is fantastic.
No, I mean, I really appreciate that. I mean, I'm pretty lucky to be able to have, two main people I work with who, I don't have to really seek out work a ton. And I know that's a little in the gig economy is kind of, it's very competitive, especially nowadays. There's a lot of video editors, a lot of graphic designers, that kind of thing. So I feel pretty lucky, but I don't know. I'm speechless sometimes because, the Aaron Rodgers tribute video. Yeah. Tom picked out the song for that. Great, because we had like 5 different songs you wanted to use, and we were just like, screw it, we're not gonna, copyright this video. We're just gonna make this awesome. And so I'm really glad that it got a lot of views. So I was really happy with that. And I heard a couple people say it was the best tribute video. So there was a few going around. So I wanted to be the best. So you gotta up the game.
That's right.
Yeah,
dude, like I'm not just saying this because you're here, but it was the best. I mean, it was, and there's some really good ones, but no, props.
I was pretty proud. of it. I still am. I'll go back and watch it every now and then.
Nice.
Nice. Well, for someone who likes being behind the scenes, I'm the same way. I'm more of a creative, more introverted, which is why I have all these live shows. But whatever. I mean,
yeah,
it's a contradiction. But I feel like you had. During 30 and 30, you had the most iconic faces, like when that were captured. Just your face, even your little face, like your profile picture right now, where you like, did somebody say cheese curds, and you're just looking off to the side?
I think Tom was taking a picture of me, and someone like walked right in front of the camera, so I was like laughing as watching him. I think that's what that was, but that was Tom. That was Tom's. He's a very underrated videographer.
I bet.
I think that, I mean, if you watch his coach series, you would see a lot of like where his talent goes into that. Because I mean, a lot of his reaction videos kind of like just straight up videos, but he has a very good talent for it. He impressed me a few times during the trip. I'll say that. I was like, ooh, you know what you're doing. That's not your basic college level camera work there. But
that's
a good point. Because I mean, I've been watching through the coach stuff. I'm in the middle of season 3. The next one is season 3, episode 3 is where I'm at. And then, like for one person doing it all by themselves, very impressive. Good stuff.
Yeah, I really don't know how he does it.
I think about that when he does those. Just like, how is he? Like, does he do he must write everything out. Tom's here, so he can tell us. I suppose. Oh, but write everything out, then do the sections, just like you would a movie, right? It all comes together in the end, but it doesn't. If you were just looking at a little part of it and you didn't know what the vision was, but yeah, he's
just
a visionary.
Just like the time he takes, I know, to write and film and then edit, like all like a matter of 2 days. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, the time. Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'm sure he doesn't sleep.
He's legit. I saw some superhuman things from him over 30 and 30. I really did. So
yeah,
I think there really is a legend about Tom Grassi.
Yeah. Well, super talented. Well, also in the comments in the chat, it's the good Laura. Hey, it's Johhny. Who's the bad Laura?
That's what I was wondering.
I don't think we have one. I don't know. I like to think all Lauras are good.
There you go.
Bill,
the bad one is a Vikings fan. So
Bill, that Laura, that Vikings fan, Laura. Bill Harnett. Hello, Kaylee Foster. And of course, Tom says, wait.
Matt knows
Lori.
I'm learning it. I'm kind of getting caught up here. So it's like when people start to watch the MCU from the beginning at this point, that's what it feels like. But no, it's great stuff. I'm really enjoying it.
The Grassi cinematic universe is it's a lot to get into, and I'm still not even like aware of what's going on half the time and this stuff. But I'm here. I'm along for the ride.
During the the murder trial that Lori Vallow was like 2 months ago or a month ago, I can't remember. And so her name's Lori, and then there was this attorney whose first name was also Lori, who was covering it, and she's writing a book, and so they were calling her the good Lori and the bad Lori.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I asked. Is the other Lori a murderer by any chance? Okay. The bad Lori, of course. So let's talk. Now, I love to start out with our Twittos. And your Twitto reads, let me see if I can find it. I'm sure you might not know what a Twitto is, but you'll figure it out. So your Twitto reads Johhny Barks at Johhny_Barks, freelance video editor, Cinnabon enthusiast, and your email for please message me back. Oh, sorry, that's not your email. Please message me back at Cinnabon. So our first and most important question is, what is the latest with your Cinnabon, let's call it, relationship?
I haven't heard back from them actually in a while. So here's the full story. And I think the kids are calling it X nowadays. So it just threw me off a little bit. I'm trying to get in with the times. No, but so it was like day 16 or something like that. It was like halfway through the journey. We were in Carolina, I want to say. And we got there like to the airport. Like we actually got there early, so we had time. We weren't like running out of the airport trying to get into the Uber, trying to get to the stadium, trying to get there in time, so they didn't like ghost us. But we actually had a second. So I was like, you know what? I walked by a few Cinnabons at these airports, and all the goodies, right there on your way to your thing that you can't always have time to stop. So I finally had time to stop, and it was legit like the best thing ever. It was, if you had a Cinnabon, like they're the best cinnamon rolls that you can buy like publicly available, ready to eat. So it was just a really nice moment. And so I shared it with Twitter, the Twitterverse, and it got a few likes, got some attention. Like I think my tweet was, I've been whatever. Because that was after we had like threw the ball around on the Bengals field and the Colts field, and so a couple days later, but my highlight was eating a Cinnabon. So I was very happy, and they messaged. So the Cinnabon account messaged me on Instagram. I was like, "Hey, can we use your tweet, put it up on our story or whatever, put it up on our Instagram page as like a free promotion?" I was like, me being the savvy, business person I am, I know I have a background in marketing. I know these things. You can't just give away your promotion. So I simply asked, I said, yes, ... Can I get some free Cinnabons, with like a thank you face? And seen no reply. So that really hurt.
Oh.
They weren't even like, what we can do, like give me like a half-ass.
Send you a bun, my goodness.
Right. Just like broke my soul. Because all I wanted was this new relationship I thought we had. We had something special. And so I messaged them back, I think a couple days later. I was like, so what do you get? I never heard back. So they shot me one message and like, oh, he's He was too smart for us, I guess.
That's what it is, exactly.
I'm trying to work out a thing with Dunkin' Donuts. So we'll see what happens there.
Nice.
A whole smear campaign against Cinnabon.
I was just
with
thinking
Dunkin'
that.
Donuts.
Yeah. Give it
seems
to
like
him.
One Cinnabon for like it seems pretty like a free fair trade. I wasn't asking for much. I wanted one free Cinnabon. Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, justice for Johhny. Boycott Cinnabon in the comments here.
Hey, I don't want you to boycott anything. I just want to be heard, okay?
He's a peace-loving man. Well, I'll tell you something. I think that they maybe just missed your message, or it was filtered out.
There you go. That's what it is.
I've seen a few messages. I don't think they missed it. I think I think some social media person will say, you know what, screw this person. We'll get someone else.
Oh, yeah, could be.
It's a cruel world. You gotta find where you're appreciated and stay there. So
Find your tribe, find your people.
exactly.
And you know what?
You have found that now, and that's wonderful.
And I thank you for this, because you're standing up for all of us who might just do it and without getting a Cinnabon, without even asking for a Cinnabon.
It's like if someone was going to ask you to be in a commercial, and then after the commercial, it's like, all right, where's my money? Like, oh, we just figured you want to be on TV. Like, no, I'm not that kind of I'm smarter than that. I know.
Right. That's right. Very good. So you have a marketing degree as well?
I don't. I have a communication degree. That's like the baby form of marketing.
Yeah.
I think it's the more widely applicable form of marketing. It can be used in different kinds of professions. Marketing's like a narrower version of it, is how I think of it.
True.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very wide, like, it was like I would have renamed it like general media studies. That seemed like more accurate. Just the college I went to, but I don't mind. I don't have any regrets.
Nice.
Only a little bit from college. Only a few things. But
yeah. College.
Stories for another time, maybe.
Okay. So now you said that you're living in you were born and raised in Illinois?
Yeah, I lived most of my life in Illinois. So
okay.
So you're probably wondering how the heck did I become
and have you ever been assaulted by a Bears fan?
Not yet. I was like 12 and I wore a Packers jersey to Chicago and learned the hard way. I think I was like, why are people being really mean to me?
Yeah.
I was wearing a Favre shirt. This was like 2008. So, but no, I was like 6. I actually grew up a Bills fan technically, because my dad was a Cowboys fan, and we had the Cowboys versus Bills Super Bowls on VHS, and so I'd watch those. Bye, Bill. Thanks for coming out. We watched those a lot, and I would always hope that the Bills would win one of these days, but they never did. So I was kind of still inside, was rooting for the Bills. But eventually, when I was like 6 or 7, I think I went to. It was like a Sunday night, late Sunday night. My mom had to go to the grocery store, and she took me with. And those football cards in the aisle they used to have. I guess they still probably have them. Begged my mom to get, because we used to collect a lot of football cards, baseball cards. I don't think she kept them, unfortunately. No. So she actually let me get a new pack this time. And so I was really excited to go home and open them. And the first one I opened was Brett Favre, and I was like, oh, this is I think I've seen him in like the video game I played. And my dad was watching Sunday Night Football. I don't remember what game it was, but he was like, "Oh, you said Brett Favre? They're playing on TV right now." So I joined him and watched for a little bit. And if you ever watch Brett Favre, especially as a kid, you can get that sense of a guy playing the game the way it's supposed to be played, just having fun. Like the gunslinger mentality is just incredible thing to watch over the years. So that's what sucked me into the Packers. I have not turned astray since. My dad took me to Lambeau Field for the first time when I was like 12. I think it was 2006. So it was a very cool experience to be able to go there. I saw a Packers game, Packers and Falcons preseason game, and I got to see Favre and Rodgers playing the same game, which was pretty cool. I think even if it was preseason, that's still a cool thing to say.
That's really cool. Okay, so was your dad a Bears fan or a Bills fan? I'm sorry.
Cowboys fan. I'm sorry.
Oh,
he's a Cowboys fan, so he had like the Super Bowl tape of them and the Bills.
Oh, that's right. You and Tom have that in common. Your father's
it was super weird.
That's right.
Both Packer fans and our dads are Cowboys fans, but we didn't grow up near Texas or Wisconsin, so it was kind of just. But that's like a lot of I don't want to say older guys, but, that generational thing with the Cowboys were just the golden era.
Yeah, when they were like America's
Roger
team.
Staubach. Yeah.
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 So like,
speaking of marketing, America's team.
That's
right. No, that's
marketing.
perfect marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really lived up to the promise though when we went to visit for 30 and 30. I know I'm just going to mention 30 and 30 so many times, but it's beautiful
awesome.
facilities. And I will say, if you ever go, I would encourage people to go visit, to go see a game there if it's possible. But I would say get some time because there's a lot to do in that area. I would take like a whole day to visit the stadium and all that kind of area, and then a separate day to visit the headquarters because it's like 45 minutes away from each other and maybe an hour with traffic. So I think if you're going to go, just like take your time.
Right.
So I have two questions that kind of made me think of here, Johhny. The first is, so as a Packers fan in Illinois, when I lived there in Chicago for 6 years, I would wear Packers shirts all over the place, and nobody's ever like mean, but there's kind of like the friendly rivalry aspect I always found, as it was kind of like, you get past that, Packers fan thing, you start talking about football with somebody and it's amazing, right? So it was always kind of like friendly, in its core. So has that been your experience like in Rockford and like around Illinois when you wear Packers stuff, for example?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think maybe just get like a side eye. It's not that, sure. I guess they're just used to it now. Like it's kind of split territory, but it does make those like when you see another Packer guy, it increases that bond. You got to give a go Pack go. Because I mean, like if you're in Wisconsin, you'd be saying it go Pack go every single time you see someone. So it's a little special when you're in Illinois, a little bit in enemy territory. And actually, it was Johhny Rockford who I worked with. Shout out Johhny Rockford and his graphic work. He was also a Packers fan, so it was like that was the first thing that we saw. First day at work, you kind of find your tribe again, like we said. So you see a Packers fan, you kind of stick next to him, and then
yeah. I mean, speaking
you have
of
that shared trauma of all the NFC Championship losses.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of of ranting, a lot of living in the past. What if?
Processing the pain, totally. So, speaking of the Cowboys, I know what you mean about like when you see somebody wearing Packer stuff, you can be like, "Go Pack, go!" In Cincinnati, you'll be like at the grocery store or like randomly down the street. But when I was in Green Bay for the game, I started to do it, and I was like, "No." It's like literally everybody around me. Like, I gotta like turn that off for a minute.
You don't have to do it there.
But you had mentioned like going to Jerry World being like one of the like a really good stadium that you recommend people visiting. You saw pretty much all the stadiums. So like, what would be another one that really stood out to you that you think people would like just got to go to? It's an amazing experience. What would be one of those?
Yeah, I think Dallas and Atlanta are the two that immediately pop out to me. Obviously, SoFi. Bias is Lambeau. I think if you haven't seen a game at Lambeau, you have to. Yeah. You need to go see it once in a while, especially if you're a diehard football fan. I'm trying to think of like an underrated one that I want to go swimming in the cabanas in Jacksonville. I really wanted to dive in when we were there. I really thought about it, but it was very hot. The Titans is like a cute little stadium. I'd say the Ravens. I would want to see the Ravens game probably. Very. It's a smaller stadium, but it has like a lot of heart. And the cool thing they had was the laundry room. If you're able to take a tour down there, there's just like this a wall of like we saw the video we saw. It's just so many pictures. It's like it feels like a real life museum. On there, it's just so many. Because you got like Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, and then you got for some reason the band Buck Cherry from 2010. But it's kind of a cool collage of like all these kind of worlds colliding. Because there's music stuff too, so it's pretty cool.
I think one of the stadiums from the 30 and 30 that really impressed me was I forget what it's called now, but the one that the Seahawks play at. Is it CenturyLink or something else?
Lumen Field.
Yes,
that was really cool. We just got
very cool.
Go to a soccer game, and like they had like they blocked off like the top rows, but there were still so many people there. I mean, just the difference between football and soccer, but still soccer is really really popular over there, and just it was very lively, and it was a 0-0 tie that the game ended. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see a goal, but it was still fun being in that stadium. Just the energy, it really brought me back, and I was excited for football season again. So,
yeah, soccer is big on the West Coast. Much bigger on the West Coast than the East Coast. We have a couple comments here. One on the subject matter, but a couple good ones we'll have to get to too. Katie Sunderman asked, "What about the Raiders Stadium? What did you think of that one with the flame and all that?"
It was very fancy. It was very like it was very luxurious. Like if you're like it's a good tourist destination, I think, but it's something's missing as far as like the football aspect of it. Like they don't have like banners on the stadium, or there's it's not a lot of like history. It kind of it feels like more like branding rather than like embracing history. It's more like Al Davis win baby brand. Like that's just stick it everywhere and good to go. But it's a beautiful stadium. They have this area like this bar like you can like see the entire field. It's the view is incredible. We were able to like after the tour they had like this little extra. Like, oh yeah, you can come hang out up here. But it was a beautiful stadium. I'll say that.
I think it's really cool how they make their grass for the games. Did they get into that with you?
Yeah. They like rolled out like them and the Cardinals both rolled out. So it gets actual sunlight. That's really cool.
Yeah,
so I think that was a cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cool thing for the Raiders because they had like the fake turf or whatever for shows or for tours and stuff. So you could it was kind of compromised that you could like walk on the stadium, but it wasn't like the real grass. But it was still like you're walking on the stadium.
Right. And as to it being all branding and very little soul, the good Laura says that's Vegas for you. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Ryu Hitsuya. Ryu Hitsuya.
Yeah. He came. That's the awesome dude who came to like I think it was 14 or 15 of the cities. Was it?
Oh my god!
Yeah, he was. Because I think he left a job and was like, screw it, I'm gonna be like a little roadie or whatever. So it's really cool.
Well, he says, as a fellow Illinois Packer fan, I live from the hate and I get wearing Packers gear. It sustains me.
Drink those beers. Yeah, it's especially lately. I mean, the Bears fans are very optimistic going into this year. They're very high on Justin Fields. So I might get a little contentious this year, more than normal. Plus, they think the bad man's gone, but we'll see about Love. We'll see.
Third edition bad man.
He is And Katie says, "Oh, sorry, we got that one." Oh, sorry. Okay, it's Kaylee says we're gonna get you and Tom into Arrowhead next season. So
that was a disappointing one. That was like I think the Chiefs and the Saints were the two I wanted to see the most that we didn't get into. But there's always next year. There's always a
that's right,
new opportunity. Casey, I will say Casey was awesome. The fans there were wild, and they were probably one of the top 3 most rambunctious, most passionate fan base that was that we got to get to know. So
that was a good video. That one, yeah.
I love your quaint little stories about how your mom. You were just talking a few minutes ago about how your mom took you to get your baseball cards, and then while you were on the road, you talked about how you wanted that one toy.
Justin Timberlake. Yep, that's right. That became a legend, and I actually got.
Yeah, for those who haven't heard the story, tell us the story.
Someone brought me. Someone brought that to me like 3 days after they told the story in the video.
I love that.
So the story is, and I got a text from my mom after she watched the video. It's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm getting called out publicly. She's like, you wouldn't think I'm a bad mom. No. So the story is that I was like 6 or 7. I mean, it was like 2000. So I was really young. And, they had everything was action figure back in those days. I guess they probably still do a little bit now. But you had to get the action figure, whatever it was, McDonald's toy or whatever. So they had these dolls that were like all over TV, and they were like the craze. Everyone at school was like, "Oh, I got one." So I wanted Justin Timberlake, the front man of NSYNC. My favorite band, my favorite member from my favorite band. So it was like I thought I made it pretty clear. And my mom being, the mother, she has 3 other she's a mother of 4 boys, so I have to give her some slack there. So I wake up, Christmas morning, excited. We all get because we all liked NSYNC, so all 4 of us got one of these. And she got me Lance, and I was not having it. So I threw an absolute fit.
Oh no!
Eventually, she got me the right one. She swapped out or whatever. I don't know if she took it back, but I was not happy with Lance, and I thought I was going to be stuck with him. And so I went out and buried him in the backyard. Not happy. I was like, you freaking die. So I think eventually, like a week later, my brother helped me dig him back up. So we didn't just pollute. It's not in the ground. We did take the plastic out of the earth. So don't get mad at me.
I forgot about that part about you burying him too. That's so great. I love that. Your poor mom.
Doll. It's like Poor little Lance. What did Lance do? Just a
what?
spiteful little 6-year-old I was.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So this is great. This is great. We love hearing about your childhood and your wonderful mother who you probably
She's
4
a lovely
boys.
lady.
And she needs a medal. She needs a medal. 4 boys is a lot.
Oh my goodness. Can't imagine.
It's rough.
So Brett,
we were all teenagers at one point too. So the youngest was 13 and the oldest was 19. And
that's rough.
So it was rough times for her.
Yeah. Man. Were you pretty like, I shouldn't even have to ask this. I probably know the answer.
I was a good kid. I'd like to follow the rules, but I mean that was like the when you're in your adolescent stage and you're kind of breaking the rules a little bit. I wasn't the worst one. I'll tell you that. I was the better, well behaved. I will say that for the record.
Oh, did you say you were the youngest?
I'm number 3 out of 4.
Okay. So what is your best story? Like, did you all play football in the house and break something, or do you have any crazy stories of all 4 of you boys doing something really bad?
I do remember this story. So I was always like the center, not like Zeke Elliott center. I was like the center, but I would run out as a receiver because there was 3 of us. Like the younger one, my younger brother was too little at the time. So we played what we called the interception game, and it was just like running drills, I guess, as little kids. So like I had the quarterback, the center, and the cornerback. So I mean, we were playing in our basement for some reason, playing football in the basement inside. You know how this is gonna go. So we had this like I don't even know what it was for. It was just this damp like stuff, like cleaning stuff. It was like this bucket. I don't remember what kind of cleaning material it was, but it was like this don't touch kind of thing. Like don't touch it. And so obviously it gets knocked down. We're playing, boom, gets knocked down, and like it's all over the basement floor. And so my dad obviously is not very happy about that. And we would still play that game. But yeah, there was like this pole like we had in our basement. There was like a support pole or whatever. So I definitely ran into that head first a few times trying to catch a pass. It's not a good idea playing football inside. So we took it
not really. No.
So.
Yeah.
Let's get into football shape. Running into poles. That's going to get you tough and ready for the field for sure.
It was a metal pole too. It was this white metal pole that like held up the integrity of the building. It was very
big
painful.
pole. I'm feeling like there was a pole in our basement too. I didn't like the basement at all. It creeped me out. But I went down there as needed, and it was a big basement, and there was a pole in it. That must be a Midwestern thing. We don't have basements out here in California, by the way. No.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but you could really hurt yourself on if it's the kind of metal pole we had in our basement. It was very thick and it wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
So if your head hit it, your head would not win.
It's there to support the house, so it better not be.
Yeah, I was always afraid of running into it and then like the house just collapsing on top of me. So.
Well, I didn't know if it was supporting the house or if it had like water in it.
I would have to go back and like ask.
Like a pipe,
but it had like holes in it, and it would like maybe it would drain water or something like that.
I think it had to do with water.
It was an older house. It was like built in the 60s or 70s, I think. So.
Yes, the good Laura says, yeah, basements are not good in earthquake land. That is very true. Very true. Don't mess with Justin Timberlake. And Foster says your mom's a saint. No doubt. No doubt. I love that story so much.
She's a great mom. She's a great mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, she really did text me like the day after it came out.
Aww.
I was like, oh my God. Because she would watch the videos every morning as well, like as before her day at work. So she sent me a long message like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, Mom, it's fine. It was like 20 years ago.
Aw. Well, tell your mom.
We would tie each other up to the pole. It was great.
Oh, nice. There you go.
We had a playroom in the basement, but had a pole. So it was like we just used our imaginations to incorporate it into the play fantasy world we were
Oh
how do you not? It's a cool like prop to use. Like
I know it was like we get tied up as like your POWs in a war or something like that. Getting terrified. 90s kids had a great imagination. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Too many action movies.
And Ryu says I'm the third or fourth kid. Also, kids. and we had a supporting pole in our basement too. And his brothers and he definitely kept throwing each other into it.
What I'm getting here is we all just had the same childhood, right?
Yep.
I guess.
These memories.
Well, I didn't
installed
go
into
in
our
the
brains
basement.
somehow.
Yeah, I was afraid of the basement. So, and I was the youngest, and I was a girl. We only had one boy. I kind of feel sorry for my brother having three sisters, but but we did play football outside. It was a regular thing, and I remember one time I still don't know what's going on in when I watch, but everyone wanted to be Bart Starr. That's how old I am. That was our quarterback when I grew up.
That's what I heard. Like he was like the first kind of rock star quarterback.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess you had what was it, the Jets guy, but yeah, Bart Starr was just that hero. Like he was like the first one doing endorsement deals and stuff like that, and had like his cereal and everything. I thought that was really cool. I learned recently. So.
Yeah. And I think one of the takeaways here is that if you have 4 boys, they're going to play football inside, but you get 3 girls and a boy, they'll go outside where they should play football. So
a little more thinking power with women.
Probably, yeah.
More critical thinking skills.
So what we love to ask every one of our guests 2 questions that are the same every time we have a guest. So one of them is, what is the thing that you love the most about the online Packers and or NFL community? And what would you change if you had the power to change something?
I feel like I'm in Packer world a little bit more, so I'll speak on that. I think that we specifically have like a lot of really talented people that have really good sense of humor. And I think even like the beat reporters will feed into the memes and that kind of thing. And it's nice to see our social media team finally as well. Yes. But yeah, I would say, I'm really just seeing all the talented and funny people around. Like they could be professional comedians, but they cover the Packers.
Right.
And the thing I changed, I guess you saw it more last year a lot. I just like I don't know, I just call it like fanboying Rodgers or just like defending Rodgers regardless. It's kind of more broadly just like the toxic fandom, I guess, comes out of Green Bay a little bit just because how spoiled we've been the past 20 years basically.
Right.
Like anytime, just a bad game, like, oh, whatever, fire everyone, that kind of thing. Just that mindset really,
right.
I guess that's kind of not necessarily exclusive to the Packers, but it's very, very online toxic mindset. Fix it now, armchair quarterback type thing.
Right.
And we get a different answer from everybody when we ask that question. So I like the direction you took that at first with there's a lot of talented people who could be doing all kinds of other stuff, and it's cool that they happen to follow and report on and do content about the Packers. So love that. And then the idea of toxic fandom, you're right, it's every team's gonna have some of it, but it is ugly when it rears its head. And if you could change that about the Packers fan base and just have us be a more peaceable, happy lot, that'd be great.
We should be like the Shire of the NFL, right? We should be very joyful with our cheese and curds and beer, but we get a lot of bad apples. I will say we do, but I'm hoping that the Rodgers trade kind of, and maybe if we were not that great this year, that kind of just weeds out some of the bandwagon people. So
right, yeah, that was pretty ugly. I personally, it might be just in my imagination, but I personally feel like it's already a lighter, happier atmosphere.
Definitely. There's not much pressure. There's not that crazy intense we're gonna lose all this whole season just to lose another NFC championship. But now it's whatever. If we get to the NFC championship, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We would just be happy to be in the in the postseason. Woof.
Absolutely.
Be happy to be there. That'd be amazing. It'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, with the NFC this year, it's definitely possible. I mean, the Eagles is the only great team. I mean, the 49ers too, but who else? And especially our division is very, very unpredictable this year.
It is. I don't think any team really knows what to expect, especially in the North.
I legit could see any team winning, even the Bears. And that's
Anything could happen. Anything could happen. What do you think of the Chiefs this coming year? What are you thinking?
The Chiefs? I'm turning into a little bit of Chiefs hater because I'm tired of seeing them in the big game. No, they're super fun to watch. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is just unreal. This whole narrative we built on Rodgers, he's the most talented thrower of the QB. He's actually better than Brady, and then Patrick Mahomes comes along and kind of kills that argument. So, No, it's great for the game, obviously. Even if they do win, 6 or 7 Super Bowls, I think it's still good for the game. I just think that there's so many other talented teams in the AFC. I'd be really happy to see a Joe Burrow even back in the Super Bowl, or a Josh Allen in his first Super Bowl, or even the Jets, so Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, or the Chargers finally getting over that hump. I would like to see something new, but I definitely don't. I don't mind the Chiefs, but not fully escalating to that Patriots hate I had, but like starting to keep an eye on this.
Yeah. I feel like they're really well coached. I don't think it's all. I'm not crazy about Mahomes and all that hype, but I don't dislike. It's a bit much, but I just feel like they're so well coached.
Yeah.
It's a very well run organization.
Yeah.
So even before Mahomes, they were competitive for a while. I mean, they had kind of some down years in their 2000s, but yeah, they were able to just transition from Smith to Mahomes so seamlessly, and two different, like very different styles of quarterbacking as well. So I'm really interested to see. I mean, I'm not like a huge football nerd, but I'm really interested to see like how the inner workings of that went down, like his rookie year into his second year, kind of changing the offense.
I'm all about what you said. The Chargers, I would love to see that, or even the Bills, or of course the Bengals. The Chargers and the Bengals have a little soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
I like the Bills. I like the Bills. Yeah.
After 30-30, the Bengals, I mean, they were the first ones that let us onto the field, and the Colts were the only other ones that actually let us on. But like that, Bengals have a very special place in my heart as well. So I love. I've always liked Joe Burrow as well. So I'm rooting. They are my AFC team if I had to choose one.
Nice. Yeah, no, Cincinnati is an amazing place. I'm happy to call myself a resident of this city for the last 9 years. And Johhny, anytime you're around, man, if you want to visit the city, hit me up. Yeah,
it's like a 6-hour drive. Just head on over.
That would be delightful. Okay, so we have some chatting going on here. Foster says the social media team is starting to cook, though. And I feel like, didn't that start like the day after Tom interviewed Mark Murphy? And he did
it seemed to pick up then. Yeah,
it might have been. It might have had a little push in the hey, maybe we can do a little stuff.
Like, what's he talking about? Probably fix it.
Yeah, we can have fun too. No, they've been 2 memes in like 2 weeks has been it's pretty crazy. I cried, like I had like a little tear pop up. I'm like, oh my god, it was great.
I love the Chargers social media, so I hope somebody's got their eye on that. So
the Bills too. They had some the videos they posted like on TikTok or whatever, just absolutely wild. I love it.
Yes. Okay, so the good Laura said, "Don't tell Rachel that." What is she talking about? I forgot.
I don't recall.
Rachel's a big Chiefs
the
fan,
Chiefs, because
right?
I hate the Chiefs. Rachel's a Chiefs.
The Chiefs. Yeah. I should have gone. I didn't go back far enough. Sorry.
It's okay.
Foster says it makes your head harder. I guess that's hitting the And Katie says what I like to say every
episode.
I didn't say
it.
And Dean Brown, I didn't say it either. Katie, how dare you? Dean Bryan says Jenny Burks, and Foster the social media, Rachel, and then Kelly says fair enough, Johhny. I kind of want to see the Bills in the Super Bowl.
That would be very cool, especially because if they won, especially that would be very, very cool for the city. I mean, because Buffalo, I mean, me and Tom talked about this. Buffalo is definitely kind of the Green Bay of the AFC in that sense that they're also a very small team, and that community is very, very built around the Bills, and they care a lot about the people in their community, and they're really always looking after each other. That's almost what I wish. I mean, I guess the Green Bay is a great place. I'm not going to say it's not, but almost I want that more like trying to do good, almost that chaotic energy definitely fit in with what Tom and I were trying to do. So.
Right.
Of course, when you jump through a table like Tom did, you kind of you get that respect immediately. So
it unlocks something for sure.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, seriously, why did you do that? I was watching it, and I'm like, he didn't put up.
I was worried about him. Like I saw, like he was in a lot of pain. Like when he got back to the hotel, like, trying to recover and stuff. I don't know how.
No, it was a lot. It was not a small. I mean, we laugh about it, and he's like, "You have to laugh about it. What are you going to do?" But
I was like, do we need to go to the ER right now, dude? Because this is not. He was in A lot of like he just let it all out. He was being a soldier though.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Shaking hands, taking every picture with people. But yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he was feeling good at all.
Running on adrenaline and maybe beer.
Yeah, that.
And
Yeah.
vegan food, beer, and adrenaline. That sounds like my life. A lot of adrenaline. Yeah, a lot of adrenaline and a lot of vegan food. Okay, let's see. And our final question, our final official question, where is it? Oh, I missed one. Sorry.
Oh God.
There was another one. Oh, I don't have it written down, but I know what it is in my head. And this is if this is your chance to shout out your loved ones. So who supports you most in what you do for the Packers online community or the NFL community, however you want to say it? Who helps you the most doing what you do? And how do they do that?
Big shout out to my cat Chance. He's a pal. Whenever I need a break, he's there to help cuddle. I'm kidding. I like to cuddle my cat. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
My mom is very supportive as well. My mom's the best. My brothers Daniel and AJ and Michael, very very cool guys. Not like a whole lot of people close. Like are super into football.
Right.
So like very casual questions. It's fun. Like talking to extended family like casually about football. It's always kind of like don't want to drop too much knowledge for you. I got to stay at a beginner level. But no, everyone in the Tom Grassi's community that has been supportive of me have been very helpful. Perna has been very helpful for me as I started doing this professionally and on my own. So I'm super thankful for all the people. Like honestly, anyone on Packers Twitter. Like there's just so many people I've met and built a relationship with that I'm super proud to know, and I'm grateful and humbled that now people see me as a cool person in the space. So
yeah.
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah, and we're still talking in the
just a little pain.
About
no pain,
a little
no
bit pain.
Gain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, puffy jacket. Yeah, he needed a puffy jacket or something. A bubble, an air mattress. All right. Well, now is the time during our show where we transition on over to our superlatives. So, Maddie, you want to get us started? We can go back and forth tonight if you'd like, unless you have a theme.
Okay. So mine are kind of. I have two different ones that are both kind of like zones. It's not as focused of three like I usually have. It's a bit kind of a different feel this week for me. So I could do like one of them, and then you could go, and then I could do the other one or something. So
you have two. You have two zones, and I have
clouds. Yeah.
Okay, you have two clouds, and I have three. So I'll start. And okay, sounds good. Okay, so this one's really quick and easy, and I have to look it up because I can't. It is the best headline. And the headline reads, and this is the best headline, and this is McQuaid Arnold from Wisconsin Sports Heroics. And the headline reads, NFL: New York Jets release wide receiver Aaron Rodgers just praised.
Ooh, it's very clickable. I like it.
Yep.
Very clickable. I thought it was fun.
I like it.
You got to be creative with the character. You can't just be like, there's new phrases you got to come up with. So you can't just use this shocking move. Well, this will shock you.
Right.
People are getting smarter than that. You got to evolve the clickbait a little bit. So respect a good clickbait title. It's very good.
It was a little bit of a dig, and I loved it. I'm going to love digging on him for the rest of my life. So call me petty. I don't care.
It's just fun.
McQuaid's funny. He's a funny guy. So yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, and I did read the article, but I mostly am calling out the awesome headline because it made me read the article because I just was like,
that's what a good headline will do right there.
A good petty headline. Okay, man.
Go read the article to find out which receiver it was. Exactly.
Right. And I already forgot. It didn't matter. Excellent. All I wanted to know is that Aaron Rodgers just praised him and they let him go.
Packers would do that. We got flamed for that. The Packers.
Yeah, because only the Packers would do that, right?
We're still getting crap about Jake Kummerow like 6 years later now, right?
I know. Let it go, man. Okay.
All right, should I go down?
Yes, cloud number one.
So a thing that I love to do third year in a row now, is as people are compiling their 53-man rosters, I like to put them together into a great big old spreadsheet so we can see like what are some trends, what are people saying, what are the ones that folks are actually arguing about, and I just love doing it so much. And then putting up the spreadsheet for people to actually see and kind of start looking into, start commenting on and stuff like that. It brings me a lot of joy. And so then after the initial 53-man roster, which of course is a funny thing into itself, because that's not what the team's going to be even a week later, much less at the beginning of the season, because of just there's the weird machinations that happen, like getting Matt Morsick back on after you put Luke Tenuta on IR and so on. But anyhow, just to see how the things land with people trying to predict these things is something I find really super fascinating. And I mean the other side of that, of course, is we're talking about a lot of people not getting a job, which sucks. So I want to acknowledge that, of course, but suffice to say, looking over the spreadsheet, I do want to give some shout outs here basically around this. So kind of superlatives related to this endeavor, right? The first one is going to be, of course, dude, best job going to Wendell Ferrero, who nailed it. He got 50 out of 53 correct.
That's impressive. That's really impressive. It's hard to do.
Yeah. I mean, especially given the fact that he's the only person who got that many. Now, I think especially could anybody have ever gotten all 53 right this year? Especially with releasing, most of the punting and kicking units. It's no one could have guessed all that. There's no way. So to get 50 is exceptional. So first of all, just kind of salute to Wendell Ferrero, who, by the way, folks, highly underrated member of the Packers content community, and just a really good dude. So shout out.
Great follow on Twitter. Great follow.
Great, amazing follow. Yeah. So that was kind of one of them from the cloud. Another one is just most unique, because this is going out to Robin Adams. Speaking of Wisconsin sports heroics, he is, I want to say the owner, I think is his title there. But Robin, I really appreciated this. When I saw his 53, I was like, really, man? Really? Because to be more specific, he left off Isaiah McDuffie. He had on Aaron Mosby. Those are he might be the only person who did both of those things, and he's not going to say, that we're going to only keep Jordan Love or something like that. There's no super wild takes, but within the context of how samey most of these predictions were, to have somebody saying, oh yeah, not this one person who we're sure is going to be back, and yes to this one person that's no, probably not. To put that out there, to publish it, to stick your neck out, to have the footballs to say that kind of thing publicly. Major props to Robin. He's an outstanding dude too. So those are kind of the big ones. I also want to give a shout out to, along with Robin, the other person who had the least accurate, let's say, was our friend Iowa Joe Pearson. He was right there with Robin, so they get sort of I think a special commendation for being brave and going outside of the script for what a lot of people were saying. Some of Joe's takes were a little spicy on that, and I appreciated that.
I love that. I love that so much. Robin is a smart dude too. Mm-hmm. Very smart dude. Robin was on my true crime podcast last night. Did you know that?
I saw that I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't see the podcast itself.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick side note about that. Don, what was that about? Tell us about that real fast.
Well, just did a 3-part series on how to keep children safe on the internet, given a lot of changes with technology that are just going to continue, overwhelming parents. But I did it from a crime vantage point. In the first part of the series is I read one indictment of these 3 young men from Nigeria who were brought into the United States to face charges. But it's so easy to hear something like children's safety on the internet, right? It's like a thing. But to really drill down and find out that people are dying from this, kids are losing their life, and not in the way that you might think, they're getting kidnapped, which is awful, or they're getting, there's a lot of talk that I find overwhelming about what do they call it? Sex trafficking, child Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's more to that. There are so many nuances. It's very complicated and complex, I should say. And I just felt like super compelled to bring in my little tiny voice and my little tiny platform to bring it to light, even if it just affects one person in the future in a positive way. But yeah, that's what Robin and I were talking about. And he reached out to me and he brought up this docuseries that's being done on the Discovery Channel about a woman who she has a nonprofit because of this, but she's actually helping catch predators in a very unique way and working with law enforcement and all that. And there's a docuseries. So I wanted to talk to him about that and also just get his perspective. He was a teacher, a middle school teacher, and of course he's a parent. And we love his little kid. He's so cute.
Cutest kid ever.
Love that kid. So yeah, so that was what that was all about. So it wasn't my normal true crime watching trials and interrogation videos and things like that, which I'm still doing, which is
That's
fun.
range though. You got your murder, or your true crime, and your Packers. That's true range right there.
Mhm.
And funny thing is, I'm not alone with that. Katie Sunderman, Robin's really into true crime. Didn't know that. And Katie says, I love that you did this. Oh, well, thank you, Katie. And Katie weighed in yesterday too. And with some great advice. So I think it's a 3-part series. It was like 20 minutes part 1, 20 minutes part 2. And then Robin and I went for maybe an hour yesterday. But if you do nothing else, just treat it like a podcast. Actually, Robin thinks I should turn it into a podcast, which I might do. But at the moment, just listen to the YouTube like a podcast. I read the indictment. And when you read that indictment, when you hear that indictment about what happened, it's going to blow you away. It's just because indictments are just very plain language, and they tell you the story. And, interviews of the father and the parents and the families of all these kids is one thing, but this is like in black and white, and it's pretty mind-blowing what's happening right now with this whole thing. So yeah. Oh, so good. Laura says she's also into true crime. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, right here on this channel. Good Laura, you might know the good Lori then. The good Lori and the bad Lori. She thought that was funny. Anyway, so that's what that was about. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. So you have another superlative, Don, right?
I have another superlative, another quick one.
Okay.
And this is called bingo. Because I think bingo is kind of a superlative in itself. The word is kind of superlative-ish. And that goes to Sarah Kelleher from their latest episode of Pack-A-Day with Dusty. Steve wasn't on this week. Key takeaways from the Packers cut-down day. And all I'm going to say about that is I just found it really charming that Sarah mentioned that she used to play bingo with her grandmother. And we did too when we were kids. And it's just all these little things that make our community. It's about the Packers, but there are all these little divots in the sand that you pick up on about people's lives and commonalities, and it's just kind of fun. And also, because it was cut down day, our bingo game, our Packers bingo game, was going to be up. And Matt and I talked about possibly doing a bingo game on one of our shows. So since we have, Too Deep says true crime, easier. Since we have an audience here, would anyone be interested in playing bingo? Because I can actually throw electronic, a link right here in the comments for each of you to have your own card, and we can call out bingo. And what it is it's the roster, and it's a way to get to know the roster. So when I call the name, like when I play with my family, I'll call the number, which is the jersey number, and they try to guess the name of the player. But while they're doing that and looking for the number, I give them a little bit of background about the player, such as where they went to school and that kind of thing. So it's a great way to get to know the roster. So let us know. Yes to bingo. Katie says yes to bingo. So, all right. So I do think that Sarah might be interested too. Okay.
All right. So
Who
before I
doesn't
get
love
into
bingo?
right, fun times.
Fun times.
Everyone
Yes.
can go.
Everyone gets to play.
That's right. So, yeah, Don, before I get into my second cloud of things, I want to see, Johhny, do you actually have a superlative you might have thought up? Do you want to jump in with? If not, that's totally fine, but just want to give you space.
I'll say the best as a video guy. I'll give out a superlative of appreciation. I don't have a title for it, but one Tyler Herrick, I know he's putting in the work and running that Cheesehead TV account and all the other things he does. So just big shout out to him. Get to see a little bit of the work he did, like in person when we were down at train camp. And it was supposed to be like a week of vacation, but he was in getting that work in. So yeah, big shout out to Tyler, super talented. It amazes me the talent we have here on our Packers side. Glad he's on in green and gold with us.
Yeah, no doubt. Tyler, super creative, super talented, super nice, super funny. He's that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Big fans.
Him and Monty are like two of the funniest people I know. Probably.
Yeah. Monty's amazing. Both the episodes that we had, because they both been on the show before. Both those episodes were some of the better ones I think that we've had. So,
I'm sure I'll have to go back and watch. Yeah,
that one Tyler was awesome. So, anyhow, my other kind of cloud here is, so I want to be like, hey, best new podcast that's coming for this coming season. Oh, and Katie's kind of leading me right into it. Actually, look at that.
Yeah, that's what I saw today.
We love it.
Yeah, I want to say like best new thing I'm excited about for this season, but there were 3 different podcasts that were announced this last week, and I can't decide which one I'm most excited about because we have the one that Katie hinted at there, that Dusty and John Kuhn are going to do a show together, which is like, I'm freaking out. I'm really excited about that. So that's one. And then also every week now, Andy Herman and Justice Mosqueda are going to have a podcast together as part of just like Andy's regular, like his Pack-A-Day stuff that he usually does by himself. And like those are 2 of my favorite football minds in the Packers community. So to have a weekly, a show of them talking together, like,
yeah,
I can't even. And then also Matt Schneidman, who I do wish was still doing Head of the Pack with Bill Huber. It was one of my favorites. I do miss it.
He's not?
No, yeah, that's why he's doing the Matt Schneidman show, is to like try to like increase his own sort of visibility and kind of like, his brand to a degree. And I think so. From what I can glean, and I might be wrong about this, but I get the impression that basically Bill was like, Matt, you got to go like strike out on your own a little bit now and go try to like, like I said, like build your brand, become like a more, known person, not just for being like the guy with Bill, but being like Matt Schneidman. So part of that, I think then is that he's also going to be doing a show with John Kuhn. So you can have John Kuhn on 2 different shows here. And the one for Matt Schneidman is called The Brick and the Stick, which I think is pretty hilarious. Because they're different body types. So
yeah.
These are 3 that I just I'm just super excited about. I can't wait for those to get going. And so just shout out to all those people who are finding these amazing combinations of folks, peanut butter and chocolate coming together, for a great taste sensation. So very exciting stuff about all those.
We are so lucky. We are so lucky to be Packers fan and have all this to choose from, all this content, all these creators, all these creatives. It's just wow.
Yeah. A lot of teams don't have this talent in like their media side. Yeah. Most teams.
Right. And I've asked that around, and it's pretty significant. And then that's why we're here. We have a whole podcast just about content. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. Well, speaking of that, my third superlative is most blue. It goes to John Meerdink's Blue 58 this week. And among all the other great things that he said, I had to make a little outline here of what he's doing. One thing he said is he will no longer be doing his Twitter polls this year. He's going to find a little bit more sophisticated way to handle that. He said he was kind of sad about it. It is kind of sad. But it is kind of tricky because if you don't see it on time, you don't get to answer. And so he's going to do something a little more reliable. So, but he's going to be tracking some stats. So he said he's going to be doing the tracking at thepowersweep.com, and he does what he calls custom stats, either by compiling stats from elsewhere into a database. When we love databases, or by tracking them himself. Now, Matt and I are just database like junkies. So the 4 areas he's tracking this season are, and this is kind of simple, but I just thought it'd be worth listening to, because if you're not listening to John, this
you should. If you're not, you should be.
Yeah, this is what you want to listen for. So the 4 areas he's going to be tracking: number 1, yards per attempt over time with trailing average compilations of the adjusted net yards per attempt numbers over 4, 8, and 16 game chunks for Jordan Love.
So if I can paraphrase that, it's a longitudinal study of yards per attempt. It's going to be cool.
It will be very cool to see where he's trending over time. And it's just very specific to quarterback metrics. And of course, he acknowledges that no stat is going to be completely representative of a quarterback's function and all that, blah, blah, blah. So, but it is very easy to understand. And that's what I like. Even though explaining it might not be easy to understand, reading these stats will be easy to understand because it's like a 1 to 10 rating. And he also mentioned he's only going to be comparing to 12 this first year. After that, it'll just be Jordan Love on his own. But he's going to go ahead and compare to 12's first year as when he was debuted in 2008, right? As a quarterback for QB1 for Green Bay. So because obviously there's similar qualities in their first year. They sat behind the quarterback for 2 years and all that jazz. So number 2 that he's going to be tracking, he says, we're going to be tracking explosive plays this year. And he said he's done that every year. And an explosive play is runs of 12 yards or more, or passes of 16 yards or more. And 16 yards or more are commonly considered explosive plays across the NFL, if anyone wants to complain about that. So number 3, for the defense, he's tracking 3 separate pass rushing stats: the pressure rate on true pass sets, and production ratio. So the pressure rate, he explained, and I love this. He explained what these things are, which is really good for me. Pressure rate is how often you're getting pressure on your pass rushes. And this is, again, only defensive players. So, and then number 2, pressure rate on actual passing plays. So that means just dropbacks. So it excludes play action, bootlegs, and screens and that type of thing. So it's just dropbacks. And then on 3rd, the production ratio is developed by our Pat Kerwin from Take Your Eye Off the Ball. the primer for Green Bay Packer fandom who trying to learn a little bit about football, which I'm still trying to do. And so he developed that. And so it's basically how often you're getting a sack or a tackle per loss for loss per game. If you add up the sacks and the tackles for loss, and then you divide it by the number of games. And so he said, as kind of a measuring goal, 1-to-1 ratio is good. 1.25 to 1 is really good. He said when Zadarius Smith was playing for the Packers, it was a 2-to-1 ratio. That's why I love Zadarius. So you can't take that away from him.
Sure. Say about how he went kind of weird at the end there, but when he was good,
we'll just live in that 1 year.
Yeah.
2019.
Remember that.
Yep. But 2-to-1, that's like double.
Amazing.
Good. Yeah. So, and then the number 4 statistic that he's going to be tracking is ball hawks. So basically, that's all defensive plays on the ball on defense. So passer defensive plays. So I love it. I'm excited. I can't wait till the season starts. What is happening?
1 week from tonight.
Yeah.
I said Vikings, Lions and Chiefs 1 week from tonight. Yeah.
It might even be a good game. It might be
quickly. Yep.
That's right. We're going to have Thursday night football in one. Which podcast were they arguing about whether it's 2 weeks away or?
Oh my God! It was the end of Lombardi's bar last night because Dan was being a ding dong with it. And then Todd was making fun of him. It was awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually it's 1 week. And I'm like, well, it's 10 days, but I think what he was trying to say is when you have a game, you have a week of practice ahead of time. So it's really only a week.
So a side note about Lombardi's bar. I'm in my second week as the producer of the show now, and I was just sitting there when Dan was doing this. Like, I need to get Dan out of the show. I need to drag him off because this is getting out of hand. It's ridiculous. That is, folks. If you're not watching Lombardi's Bar, by the way, Wednesdays at 8:30, watching it live is more fun because you can interact in the chat and stuff.
It's fun.
You're missing out. It is a chaotic, fun show. But the thing is, like, for as much as like, and so this is just a total side thing. So I appreciate the space to do this here, Don and Johhny. This is Todd Varney and Jimmy Christensen and Dan Kotnick will come across as being kind of knuckleheads for part of it, but like they're all really smart. And they get these amazing interviews because, like, last night, Kenny Clark was on the show for a half hour, talking football with them. So, like, they do amazing work. It's an honor to be, working as the producer for that show currently. It's a lot of fun. So, people check that out. Lombardi's Bar is fantastic.
Yeah, Jimmy and Todd are good people. Got to meet them in Green Bay.
Absolutely,
very very fun people.
Yeah,
Dan's pretty good too.
Yeah, Dan. I did meet Dan in Detroit as well. So I didn't.
Yeah, that's right. He was in the video.
Yeah.
And before we get too far away from it, I just want to, if you can throw up Katie's last comment there, Bill plus Matt equals Matt plus Coon equals Coon plus Wildy. So now I'm expecting a Bill and Wildy show. I got what you did there, Katie. You kind of look, we're like daisy chaining them around. So like to kind of complete the circle, we need to have the ends touch there. And I think a Bill Huber and Jason Wildy show would be fantastic. I'd totally listen to that. I want to add too about our friend Katie is that it is not uncommon for her to bust out something like very interesting and kind of like beautiful mind like that, and I appreciate that about Katie. That's really good. That's good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, beautiful mind. Beautiful mind for true crime too. We're having a great time with true crime stuff.
You gotta plug it. You gotta keep plugging it.
No, I mean it keeps us. It's like I'm so glad I have this because here's my cat. Hi.
Hey, Tosh.
Hi, Tosh. I'm so glad I have it because what would I do without football, right? I have to do something else. I spent the whole day designing a new catio for my cat. Don't do that. Don't.
Patio for your cat. A catio. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, she has one, but I'm doing something different. And I literally spent hours on it. And I don't know why I did that because I don't have time to do that. But once I start thinking of it, I have to get it.
You get started on it and you're like, well, I'm already.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen until winter, and it may not even happen until next spring, because if we do actually have rain this winter, which would be a really big deal for us, why do it? I mean, because I was just going to have it all be screen. So she couldn't go out with if it was raining, So. I'm not.
Sometimes you have to just chase that creative dragon, though, Don. You just have to like, I want to work in this now, and let's just
get
into it. So no, I appreciate that.
Kitty, yes, that's Tosh, and she's now yelling at me because she wants to go on her catio, her current catio, and she's getting out from it, and I live on the 3rd floor, and I have railings that are maybe 1.5 inches at the most wide, and she's like standing out there on her tippy toes and she gets scared. And so then I had to go get her, and it's like, oh my God. So I want one.
Cat behavior.
Yes. And usually she's really good because you can tell she's scared and she's just like, come and save me, because she's really a wimpy cat. But the last couple times that she did it, she held on to the railing. And it was like tug of war with my cat. And she's really strong. It took me a long time to get her paws off of the thing. And then, she put the one back and another one. It's just like a cartoon. And I'm like, this is not good because you're going to fall. Mm-hmm. And it's more than three stories because the railing is up here. Oh,
He's one of those lives. Going to learn. So
no, she's already used a few though. Yeah.
My cat jumped out of a window once. That was a hectic morning. I don't know.
How high?
She just didn't want to wait for breakfast or what. But I woke up and she wasn't around. I was like, where? I couldn't find her. I had to go to work. So I was like looking around outside, and I was like so worried all day. And I came back, and she was like in a little corner in the bushes outside the apartment. It was.
Oh my God!
It was a rough day for her. We lived in a residential or kind of a busier area too, so she was probably terrified all day.
Oh my God!
Oh, I bet.
I could see like there was like a little, because the window was like cracked open, and so I could see like of her hair like in the screen. I was like, oh, she jumped.
I have I don't trust Tosh. I have screens, but I also have like these panel screens that lock in. So she'd have to go through both of those to get out the window. I mean, I could see her falling asleep and rolling up, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the screen pops out. But before our show today, now that you asked, I was practicing with her harness. Cats, if they're not used to harnesses, have you ever tried a harness on your cat? They just go limp. It's like just totally limp. And she keeps meowing at me when I go to do the gardening, and that's because I have the balconies here and then the back. And then she's like, I go out there and she's really curious. And so I'm trying to put the harness on her so she knows she can come out with me. It's like not that hard. And she did the whole go limp thing, and I brought her out, and she's like, oh, never mind, I don't want to go out. But I also want to get her ready for traveling because we have some travel coming up.
Oh, right.
So, yeah. Anywho, it's a challenge, but I didn't get bit this time or scratched. So we're making progress because Johhny doesn't know she's hospitalized me more than once.
Oh, my goodness, no.
Yeah, Johhny, the thing is that the cat's trying to kill her. So
yeah. That's what he said.
It's an ongoing thing, so it's going to happen eventually. I'll be sad when it happens, and I want you to know, I may joke about it, but I'll be sad when you're dead because your cat killed you. So just let me know.
Thank you.
Cat scratch fever is a real thing. Yeah,
it is.
It is. It is. Yeah. It is a real thing. Yeah. So, but antibiotics are as well. Just get a dog. Now, I've had dogs. No, you have to walk dogs. I've been there. I've done that.
Dogs are a lot of work. Yeah.
More than cats. Yeah.
Josh is
they have to be
of
entertained at all times too. You can kind of just like let the cat hang out.
I don't know. My cat is pretty demanding, but she's only 2. She's only 2.
Oh, right. Still a kitten. Yeah.
Yeah. She's meowing at me right now. She's yelling. So we have to wrap this up because she's going to yell at me.
Matt, Don, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
So fun to meet you. Yeah.
Johhny, any last words or anything?
Oh no! Don't shoot. That's my last word. No.
Nice.
No, I just want to thank everyone for watching and watching the content. I help out as well, so I have a way to pay my bills and feed my cats.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate all the support. It's for like a year. I think it's been about last June is when I went full time. So it's been a ride. I'm excited for another great season. Hopefully, some new memories here. Nothing too crazy. So
yeah,
I saw Perna. When the Broncos were very bad last year, that kind of actually worked out for his channel. So people love misery. So it's almost like a win-win. So if the Packers are bad, Tom's channel is like
that's true.
even more
right.
But no,
that's true.
I'm looking forward to a great season. It's gonna be a good time. So
yeah,
thank you guys for having me on. Really,
it is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's exciting no matter what. I think it's fun to have a young team, the youngest team in the NFL.
Really is, a fast team, really exciting. It'll be really interesting if they actually did get Jonathan Taylor. That'll be, I mean, I guess it's still possible, but
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, a $20 million running back for him.
Yeah, it'd have to be the right price though, because we're already kind of in deep financially.
Right.
This year's about getting out of that. Yeah,
trying to dig ourselves out. So,
well, all right, Don, should I wrap it up here? Should I bring it home?
Yes, thank you, Too Deep. Thank you, Kaylee. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everybody who's joined us tonight in the chat. And let's bring her home.
All right, well, folks, make sure you're following Johhny Barks on Twitter. His handle is JOHNNY _Barks. It's Johhny Barks, Johhny _Barks. You can't screw it up. It's standard spelling, exactly what you think it is. So make sure you're following his stuff. Johhny's amazing. Again, thanks for giving us your time tonight, Johhny. We really appreciate it. Good getting to know you. And
thanks for giving me yours. Absolutely.
Hey, we're all thankful. It's wonderful. So, friends, of course, you'll find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned. So please check it out. Also, we'd love to have a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan, or one or the other. Either way, If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with your friends and family.
Yes, Maddie, that's right. Because we love you. We're so glad to know you, to be fans of you, and have the luxury of being the most storied fans of the most storied team in the NFL.
Mhm.
We appreciate your support, your subscriptions, and sharing our pod. And we look forward to seeing you next week on.
Hey, we like your pod.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.